Hi, welcome everyone to Morning Flow. We'll get going in about 3 minutes. Grabbing your water bottle, your mat, whatever is right and good for your practice this morning. And we'll see you real soon.
It's gonna be a warm day out there today.
All right. Well, let's get going. I'd like you to come to the top of your yoga space. If you're using a mat, coming to the top of your mat. I'll invite you this morning to find a tighter stance, just to challenge your balance. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart as we bring our hands to our heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as we line up each finger. Relax shoulders long through all sides of the neck, with a slight tuck of the chin as we start to take our attention inward. And we can start by watching our breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Arriving here on our yoga mats, ready for a morning yoga practice. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath with a long, slow inhalation in, matched by a long, slow exhalation out. Welcome, Kathy. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the top of the chest, the base of the belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you exhale, I'm not sure if I said this, I'll encourage you to draw the low belly in and up, squeezing a little more air out, also connecting front and back planes of our bodies. Also providing structural support for our low back in any of these shapes, in any of these sequences. To this deeper, fuller breath, finding your Ujjayi or ocean breath, a go-to breath in many flow practices. A slight constriction of the base of the throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice. Always coming back to that sound and feel, often compared to the sounds of the waves of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. To this Ujjayi breath, finding Jiva Bandha, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, trying to keep that connection throughout the practice. Hard to see, hard to demo, but it keeps our jaws relaxed and keeps us from grinding our teeth. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, I'll invite you to open your eyes if you closed your eyes, bringing your hands by your side. Warming up our shoulders as we inhale the arms up and over the head. Exhaling, arms down. 2 more times like this, breathing, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Half sun salutation, adding a forward fold. Inhaling, arms up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as we fold. Take a breath to lift chin and tail. On the exhale, catching the back of the calves as we fold again. Inhaling, neutral spine, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more to go. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. So now start A, with or without vinyasa. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, folding again, grounding down through your hands. Either stretching it back to down dog and holding, or maybe cycling through chaturanga, with or without your knees. Inhaling into up dog or cobra, and then exhaling back to down dog. Whatever pose you choose, breathing, watching your breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe you take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one, much like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. And either finding your down dog or elbows soft, maybe using the knees as we find a push-up. Inhaling into cobra or up dog. And then pushing back either to child's pose, maybe you find your down dog. Lots of great places to work. Always finding that connection between your movement and your breath. Very relaxing to our nervous systems. Great way to start the day. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, riding the breath up. On the exhale, standing tall. We'll offer an option this time. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. So this next option, if you choose, can either be done from plank pose or from all fours. I'm going to demo from an all fours position. From here, so either finding your plank or finding your all fours, I'll invite you to ground down solidly through the left hand as we use the right hand to tap left shoulder. Grounding down solidly through right hand, we'll use left hand to touch right shoulder. A couple more times each way. Right touches left. Left touches right. One more time each side. Right touches left. Left touches right. and then ground it down solidly through two hands, either holding your all fours, finding your down dog, or maybe finding your child's pose. Deep full breaths. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Hail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling fold. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Siddha Namaskar B. It starts with the chair, knees over toes, hands over head. Adding an extra breath, exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, I'll invite you to find a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length, and then breathing out, back to down dog as you will, either stretching straight back or cycling through vinyasa. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a three-legged dog, right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Now bringing that right foot on through, landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down. Finding your warrior one, hands can always find the hips and then up and over the head. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Now looking between the hands, bringing that left foot on through, landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down, finding your balance, arms up and over the head for warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Nice time of year to do these sun sals in this particular location. I can see the sun slowly rising, almost as if the sun salutation is encouraging it to rise on up. From down dog, long smooth breath in, long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, stay low. We'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. Second one, much like the first, we'll throw a hip opening sequence into the mix. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a three-legged dog, right leg high, high on the left toes. Trying to keep the shoulders just as they are, lifted legs straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot on through, landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down, finding your warrior one, arms up and over the head. And then on the exhale, spinning palms out, spinning back heel up as we find low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Deep full breaths. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Trying to keep the shoulders just as they are. Lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that left hip. And then looking between the hands, sweeping that left foot on through. Spinning the back heel down, back leg long, back leg strong. Inhaling into warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time, find your flow. Flowing with your breath, flowing with your body, mind, and spirit just as they are. right here, right now, in part of the practice is that exploration of where you are today. That's why it's so great to do these in the morning, kind of setting our resetting as we enter into the new day. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. On the inhale, stay low, finding our chair pose. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, standing tall, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart, either keeping a light press of the palms as your weight gathers into your feet, or adding an isometric engagement as we press the palms together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged. I'll invite you to tuck tail and chin as we find strength in our center. And then hands by our side. From here, let's bring hands on hips as we step our feet hip width apart. I'm going to go backwards on this one. Kathy's going to stay just as she is. And some might say, that's my best side. Others won't say that. From here, we're going to find a standing forward fold. Take a breath to lift, shoulders up, around, back, and down. Leading with the heart as we find a forward fold, knees soft. Peace sign fingers catch the big toes. You might have to bend the knees a lot to do that. Take a breath to lift chin and tail just like in the sun styles. And then folding and holding. Relaxed neck. Heavy, heavy head. As we hold this shape, I'll invite you to gently sway your body side to side, releasing tension in the neck and shoulders. And then coming back center, long through both side waists, long through all sides of the neck. Shoulders draw up and back towards the hips as that neck gets a little bit longer. Any tension in the neck and shoulders is draining down through the crown of the head, into the ear. From here, I'll invite you to take it a little bit further. Take a breath to lift chin and tail, and now bending the knees even more if need be, as we bring the palms under the soles of the feet, and then stepping on the hands as we stretch out wrists and forearms. As we hold this shape, I'll invite you to rock your body weight, heel, toe, toe, heel, as we wake up the back of our legs. And then letting a little more weight collect towards the toes, staying grounded through the heels, stepping on the hands harder, lifting the hips higher, and folding a little deeper. Now exploring the diagonals of the back as we bring left hand off to the left, right hand under left foot, and stepping on right hand as we stretch out right shoulder and hip. Now adding on as we bend right leg, that far leg deeply, stepping on the hand harder. Straightening right leg, bending near leg, left leg as we step on the floor harder. Two straight legs. I'll invite you to bring right hand off to the right, left hand under right foot, and stepping on left hand as we stretch out left shoulder and hip. Now bending that far leg, that left leg deeply as we step on the hand harder. Straightening left leg, bending right leg as we step on the floor harder. Two straight legs. Let's add on one more time. Left hand off to the left, right hand under left foot, and then both legs stay straight as we bring left hand to the hip to start the twist. Now we can set that shoulder. Now we can stretch that left hand high to the sky. Left hand comes down, right hand off to the right, left hand under right foot, and trying to keep two legs straight as we bring right hand to right hip to start the twist. Now setting right shoulder, now stretching right hand high to the sky for a standing forward fold twist. Big breath into your back. Right hand comes down, two hands find the floor. Take a breath to set neutral spine as we bring hands onto our hips. And then keeping neutral spine, hinging at the hips as we rise on up. And then I'll invite you to jump it in thin like a pin. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart as we bring hands to heart. Either keeping a light press of the palms as your weight gathers in your feet, or adding that isometric engagement as we find strength in our center. And then hands by your side. You ready for Bakasana? All right. So we're going to play with the crane. If it's not for you, you just make your way back to down dog as you will. And again, take your time, find a sequence that works for you. We'll start with our chair. Taking it lower. Finding the power chair. From here, maybe playing with Bakasana. You can just hold your power chair while I talk Kathy through this. Wide with the feet. We ground down through your two hands. Knees come high on the arms. You can find the armpits. You don't have to work as hard. Otherwise, you're going to have to hug the midline like crazy. And then shifting the weight into the hands as we float either 1 or 2 feet. Beautiful. Look at that. Puffing up the back of the heart. Breathing into that place. And then from here, I'll suggest walking it back to down dog. And again, if you want to cycle through vinyasa, go for it. Otherwise, that's a hard pose. Maybe just having your down dog, maybe sneaking in a quick child's pose. Always finding that balance between your effort and your ease. And whether you're in down dog or child's pose, two great places to breathe into the back plane of your body, using the work of respiration to find a little more freedom, a little more space in your spine. One of those wise sayings that floats around the yoga community is the health of the spine is the health of the body, is the quality of our movement, so we can keep our backs supple. We stay young. From our down dog shape, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Trying to keep the shoulders just as they are. Lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that right hip. And then looking between the hands. Stepping that right foot through. Finding warrior 1 prep as we bring hands to our hips. From here, finding a length of stance that works for you. I tend to go a little short. If that's not the case with you, just stay right where you are. I'll slide that back foot back a little bit. Classically, it's heel to arch alignment. That's not right for your hips or your balance. You could always go wider. I wouldn't go any narrower. We want to steer our back hip front hip back. From here, we can bring hands onto our shoulders, relaxing and releasing those shoulders and squaring the heart front. From here, I'll invite you to find a clasp with the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, and then stretching those hands high to the sky. With the breath, I'll invite you to gather up the energy, inhaling and exhaling, finding this letter W shape. Now let's do this a few times, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 3, breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out. Finding this letter W and holding. Great go-to shape at any point in your day. As we find more space in our hearts. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers as we keep our hands supple. Now turning warrior 1 into warrior 2. Hands find the heart. We open up the hips to face the side wall. You might kick the back foot in just a little bit. Classically, it's heel to arch alignment. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. From here, painting rainbows. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last 3, breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2, breathing in. Breathing out. Let's do one more for good measure. Breathing in. Breathing out. Finding our warrior 2. And from warrior 2, finding a rainbow warrior, a clasp of the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down, either hanging out here or adding the balance challenge with a forward fold inside the front leg. Arms move up and over the head as we relax the neck. And heavy the head. If you've chosen the forward fold, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway. And then back to center, long through all side waists, long through all sides of the neck. Any tension to the neck and shoulders just drain down through the crown of the head, into the earth. Those of you that chose the forward fold, I'll invite a strong tuck of the chin, stretching out the back of the neck as you bring it on up. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to our warrior two. From here, transitioning to Trikonasana, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We're deep in that crease. We lengthen those ribs. Grounding bottom hand down in an appropriate place, keeping a little spring in the knee. We can set that top shoulder. We can stretch that hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky with that mixture of effort and ease. As we hold Trikonasana with every breath in, finding your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. With every breath out, sending energy out through 2 arms, 2 legs, both ends of the spine, as you make yourself bigger in space. From here, I'll invite you to explore your lateral top line as we exhale that top hand front, turning heart to the floor. On the inhale, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. And we'll do that a few times. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Last 3. Exhale. And inhale. Last 2. Exhale. And inhale. Last one, we'll hold as we reach. I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers. Now the bottom hand joins, pure side motion, no twist to the torso. We breathe 2 hands up. And exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over. Halfway done, breathing it up. Exhale it over. Last 2, breathing it up. Exhale it over. Last 1, breathing it up. Exhale it over and hold as we reach, wiggling those fingers. And we have choices, either the triangle on 2 feet or the triangle on 1 foot, the half moon. Take your time. Hand finds the hip. We step the back foot in. Right hand well off to the right. Shifting weight into foot and hand as we lift back leg. We can set that top shoulder. We can stretch that hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky with that mixture of effort and ease. Again, as we hold the shape with every breath in, finding your center of balance. With every breath out from that place, getting bigger in space from the inside out. Of course, breathing, watching your breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. On the dismount on this, no rush at all, and I want to try to maximize core engagement and minimize momentum here. Hand finds the hip. We're going to bend the standing leg. Hand stays down if you can. Bend, 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 bend. You're going to ground through 2 feet. Feel free to shift the weight now into the feet. Feel free to come to your warrior 2, and feel free to go a little longer in the stance. From here, a big windmill of the arms as we spin back, arm front, front arm back, to find low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. And again, take your time, find your flow. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping the shoulders as best you can, just as they are, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, sweeping that left foot on through. Spinning the right heel down, hands find the hips for warrior 1 prep. Finding a length of stance and a width of stance that works for you this morning. We can steer back hip front, front hip back. Hands find the shoulders as we relax and release those shoulders and steer the heart front. Now finding the odd clasp of the fingers, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, and then stretching those hands high to the sky. From here with the breath, gathering up the energy. On the exhale, offer it out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. We've got 3 more to go. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out and holding. Elbows move back, the hands come with. I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers. Breathing into heart space feels so good. From here, turning 1 into 2, as hands find the heart, we open up the hips to face the side wall. We might narrow the stance, and then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. From here, painting 6 rainbows. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out, finding your warrior 2. From here, moving towards the rainbow warrior, finding that odd clasp of the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down onto rib shelf, and then leading with the heart. If you choose, you could always stay right here. You'll challenge your balance with that forward fold inside the front leg. Shoulders draw up and back towards the hips. So draw the hands up and over the head. If you found the forward fold, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway, like wiggling a key in a lock, getting the lock to spring. And then back to center, long through both side waist, long through all sides of the neck. Any tension in the neck and shoulders is draining down through the crown of the head, into the earth, where it's gone, at least for now. In our rainbow warrior, if you found the forward fold, strong tuck of the chin to stretch out the back of the neck. Keeping that tuck as we bring it on up, coming back to our warrior 2. Transitioning to Trikonasana, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib, deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs. Grounding bottom hand down in an appropriate place. We can set the top shoulder, we can stretch that hand high, either looking down off to the side or up to the sky with that mixture of effort and ease. With every breath in, finding your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. With every breath out from that power place, getting bigger in space as we connect with the pulsation of our breath and consequently the pulsation of the universe. Now exploring that lateral top line as we exhale that hand front, turning our heart to the floor. On the inhale, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. And we'll do 6. Exhale. And exhale. And inhale. 3 more. Exhale. And inhale. Last 2. Exhale. And inhale. Last 1. Exhale and hold as we reach, wiggling those fingers, keeping our twigs supple. Now the bottom hand joins. We take that twist out of the torso, pure side motion. We breathe 2 hands up. And exhale it over. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Up. And over. Last 2. Breathing it up. And over. Last 1. Breathing it up. And over and hold as we reach. Again, wiggling those fingers. And we have options. Either Trikonasana on 2 feet. Or the triangle on 1, otherwise known as Ardha Chandrasana, the half moon. Take your time. Hand finds the hip. We step the back foot in. I'll suggest left hand well off to the left for a nice wide base. Grounding down through foot and hand. Lifting back leg. Setting the shoulders, stretching hand high. Either looking down off to the side or up to the sky with that mixture of effort and ease. Awesome. Awesome. Beautiful, Kathy. Nice smile on your face. Welcome, Mr. Sun or Mrs. Sun. From here now, we're going to come down with grace and control. Again, take your time. Hand finds the hip. We're going to bend the standing leg. Try to keep that hand down. You can find a short stance. No big deal. Now you shift weight into the feet. We're going to come back to our warrior 2. You might go a little longer in the stance. And from warrior 2, a big windmill of the arms as we find low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time. And vinyasa just means connected movement. So if you've done enough chaturangas, you might just find a plank pose and hold that for a couple of breaths. And just draw it on back. Wherever you choose to work, however you choose to get there, coming back to an even breath and watching as it flows in and as it flows out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands. as you mindfully make your way front, stepping, jumping, flying, floating, maybe all six. Take a breath to find light. Exhaling, fold. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart. We have different options now. So we've got that light press of the palms. We've got that isometric engagement as we press the palms together. Now adding on as we clasp the fingers, staying grounded through the heels of the hands as we try to pull the hands apart. And then hands by our side. From here, let's find a clasp with the fingers in front of the heart. And let's pretend our left hand is an elevator and just bring the right hand along for one. Keeping the left hand engaged, we bring hands back to heart. We go two. We go three. We can inhale on the elevator right up and exhale on the elevator right down. Let's do two more. Now let's pretend the right hand is the elevator, the left hand is the passenger as we breathe it up for one. And two. And three. And four. And five. And six. And hands by our side. From here, let's jump it out hip width apart. And we're just going to keep the knees soft. You might see this in the parks here in San Francisco as we start to swing it from side to side. Now I'll invite you to make very soft fists with the hands, and we'll hit one side of the navel and it's diagonal on back. And again, light taps here. You don't want to bruise any kidneys here. The back soft fist is going to keep tapping right where it taps. Front fist is going to tap just below the shoulder. Back soft fist keeps doing what it does, and that front fist is going to tap on top of the shoulder. Soft front fist starts to tap below the shoulder. Front soft fist starts to tap either side of the navel. I like to call this one the agitator. Anyone that's ever used a top loader knows what I'm talking about. To wash their clothes. Now we're going to release those soft fists, still swaying side to side. Our agitator is starting to come to the end of its cycle here. We go slower and slower and slower and back in. Before we do another standing sequence, let's do one more palate cleanser here. So knees are soft. On the inhale, we're going to bring the arms up and over the head, a little bit of a back bend. On the exhale, we're going to find a forward fold, hands come back, and just let the breath come out through the mouth. And we'll do six. We got three more to go. Last one. And then back up. And hands by our side. Let's find that narrower stance. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. We'll find a tree pose. We can angle the right toes out just a tad. Give our hips a little more room to breathe. Hands find the hips. We're going to find either a kickstand tree. Let me work back far enough back you can see that. So I rest my heel on the ankle knob. Great place to hang out. Great place to come back to. If you want to challenge your balance a tad more, we could find our calf tree. For those of you that want to find a thigh tree, unless you're a very high-level ballet dancer, you're probably not able to do this without the use of the hand as we bring that foot onto our thigh. Oops. From here, I'll invite you to bring hands to heart as we find our balance. And then heart hands can become high hands. If the pose feels wobbly, try wiggling those fingers. High hands become hard hands. Hard hands become hip hands. We can swing this left thigh front. We can release the thigh if you found the thigh, if you're working floor or calf, lifting that thigh up nice and high. And then leaning a little bit forward and extending through the leg. Number 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, lifting leg a little higher. And then flexing the foot as we sweep it on through, finding our warrior 1 prep. From here, steering back hip front, front hip back. Relaxing the shoulders and squaring the heart front. Finding that clasp of the fingers, pressing head into the hands, open heart, open throat. And now finding a tray in front. Breathing in as we gather the energy into our center of balance. On the exhale as we offer it out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out. Now holding. Elbows move back, the hands come with, wiggling those fingers. Now right hand, hand to the front leg is going to catch that hip. We're going to turn the palm back as we find length on the left side, straightening front leg without locking knee. Exhaling as we reach, reach, reach. Inhale as we reach up. Exhale as we reach out. Inhale. And exhale, halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now we're going to reach, reach, reach. I'll allow you to spin the back heel up and then grounding that back knee. Unfurling the back foot to stabilize the shape. Let's take the front foot a little bit forward, keeping the knee over the heel in line with the toes, enough forward so you feel stretch in that back thigh. We can start the twist with the wrist. We can slide to the elbow, either keeping right hand on right hip or finding your prayer hands. As you press those hands together, feel the shoulder blades moving back and down as we open up the heart. I'll allow you to lift the chin ever so slightly as we open up the base of the throat. Those of you that want to focus on the twist, that could be a great, great feel, especially in the morning, to find these twists to start to wring things out of our bodies. You'll keep the back foot down. If you wanted to add a balance challenge and a little bit of core engagement, you could tuck the toes and slowly lift that knee off the floor. Whether you're working back leg down or back leg lifted, despite the twist, still finding long, smooth breaths in. Long, smooth breaths out. Now we're all going to meet in low lunge. Leg is lifted. You'll just come out of the twist and frame front foot with both hands. If your back foot's down, you'll tuck the toes. You'll lift the knees coming out of the twist. Hands frame the front foot. Everyone meets in low lunge. And then from here, back to down dog as you want. Take your time. So I want to cue the swan pose. A lot of people know it as the pigeon. I prefer to call it the swan just because it's a prettier bird in my mind, although the pigeons might disagree. If being on your knee is not right for your knee, you could find a figure 4 on your back. It's going to be the same stretch, just less pressure on the knee. I'm going to cue the swan and then I'll demo the other shape once Kathy's in the swan. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Trying to keep the shoulders just as they are, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip, and then looking between the hands, keeping the knee joint closed as we sweep right knee to right wrist. Walking the left leg back as we settle our hips down, unfurling the back foot to stabilize the shape. From here, pushing into the hands to open up the shoulders, and then leading with the heart, arms in extension as she crawls herself forward. Slow, slow, slow. We have more length in the spine, not less. And then if her forehead, or your forehead, reaches the floor with the arms in extension, awesome. If that's not the case, you could always cross the forearms or find a pair of soft fists. Demoing the other shape, you'd be on your back, right leg on left thigh. We can reach through to catch thigh or shin as we stretch out our right hip. Those of you in the supine, or the supine figure 4 shape, you'll be there for a while. Those of you in the swan, I'm going to give you some further cueing here. So in the swan, I'll invite you to walk your hands back, and then we'll find a twist to each side. So let me go a little farther back so I'm in frame. I'm going to take a forearm on the bent knee side of things. It's going to be perpendicular to my body. Left hand off to the side. I'm going to pull back with that forearm. Pull, pull, pull as I find a twist. Really breathing into your low back here. Any tweaks, any sharp pains, please back off. Please don't pull as hard. And it might be wise to come out of the shape. Now we're going to turn our bodies back center. We're going to find the other forearm perpendicular to the body. Outrigger hand on the right side, and we're going to pull back with that forearm as we turn our heart towards that bent front leg. And it's just interesting where people feel this. Those of us that do a lot of yoga, it tends to be a hip stretch. Those of us that might be more runners or cyclists, it tends to be a thigh stretch. Now bringing our bodies back center, grounded down solidly through two hands, we can tuck the back toes, keeping that right knee joint closed as we lift that leg high, high, high. And then I'll invite you to give that knee a little wiggle, chasing away any congestion that might be in that knee joint. Those of you, so then Kathy, you can either stay in vinyasa or hang out in your down dog. You might find a child's pose. Those of you that are on your backs in that figure 4 shape, I'll invite you to ground down through the left foot. Top foot stays flexed as we ground down through 2 feet. From here, I'll invite you to reach back with your hands to lift and tuck the chin, drawing the knees in as we catch the back of the thighs, and then rocking yourselves up, bringing your feet off to one side, finding an all fours position, hands a little bit in front of the elbows. From here, lifting chin and tail as we arc the back, and then tucking the toes, rounding the spine, tailbone high, 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 and then pushing into the hands to stretch the heels down as we find either our down dog or sneaking in a child's pose. So I know that's a lot at once. You can always rewind the tape. So I'm going to cue that pigeon or swan pose on our second side. And again, if it's not right for your knee, and your knee might be very different on the other side. So some of us have surgeries, some of us have issues, so always feeling free to work that alternate sequence that I demoed at the end. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. Without overly disturbing the shoulders, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that left hip. And then keeping the knee joint closed as you sweep left knee to left wrist. Walking the right foot back as we settle our hips on down. I'll suggest unfurling the foot to stabilize the shape. Setting the shoulder blades back and down, and then walking those hands front. I like to think spider fingers sometimes, spiders crawling on a sill, leading with the heart, lots of space in the spine. And then settling the forehead down onto the floor. And if the forehead's far from the floor, another option might be a cross of the forearms or a pair of soft fists. A friend of mine used to call those potatoes. Remember that? 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4. A kid's game when I was a kid. I don't know if kids play it anymore. And then, again, if it's not right for if you start this version, all of a sudden you're like, oh, my knee doesn't want to do this, just flip on over and find that laying down figure 4 shape. Laying down figure 4 shape, you'll chill out for a while, great place to hang out, breathing into your back. Those of us in the prone swan position, on that front bent leg, we're going to walk our hands back if they're in extension. We're going to find a forearm on the bent knee side of things. Outrigger hand, we're going to pull back with that forearm as we turn our heart away from that bent front leg. Breathing into our low back, finding more space in that lumbar spine. Now coming back center, other perpendicular form, other arm out to the side, pulling back with that form as we twist towards that bent front leg. Feels so, so good. Those of you in the supine swan coming back center, grounded down through two hands. We'll tuck the back toes. We'll keep that knee joint closed as we lift that left leg high, and then opening up the knee, giving that leg a little shake, releasing any congestion that might be in that knee. And then finding your down dog and holding. You might cycle through vinyasa, you might not. And I'll cue that other sequence for those of you on your backs. We're in this supine figure four shape. We'll release the thigh or the shin. We ground down through the foot. Top foot stays flexed as we bring it off the thigh. From here, reaching back with our hands to lift and tuck the chin. We draw the knees in, hands catch the back of the thighs. We rock it on up. We bring our feet off to the other side as we find an all-fours position on the floor. Walking the hands just a tad front with a breath, finding a lift to chin and tail as we arc the back, tucking the toes, pushing into the hands to lift the knees as you round the spine, and then finding neutral spine as you push into the hands and stretch the heels down, and either holding your down dog, cycling through vinyasa, or finding a child's pose instead. And again, you can always rewind the tape to find that sequence. From our down dog shape, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way from. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding and holding. I invite you to hold the forward fold as we go wide with our feet, toe heeling the feet wide. Soft knees catching opposite elbows and gently swinging it from side to side. Switching the cross of the elbows, keep swinging side to side. Yeah, there's other ways to do this. And then I'll suggest an assisted roll up here as we bring hands onto our thighs and chin stays tucked. We use the assistance of the push of the hands into the thighs as we massively roll ourselves up. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. Feel free to do this with me. Ears over shoulders. Ears and shoulders over hips. Ears, shoulders, hips over heels as we stand tall and breathe. From here we can jump it in thin like a pin. We have those three options. A light press of the palms as hands find the heart. That isometric engagement as we press the palms together, or clasping the fingers, staying grounded through the heels of the hands as you try to pull the hands apart. And then hands by our side. From here, let's step or jump it out wide like a house. Hands find the hips as we angle the feet out. And I practiced yesterday with my son. He's a rugby player at UC Santa Cruz. They call these the sumo squats. In the yoga world, we call them the goddess squats. So different perspective, probably. And we're going to take it down into that either sumo or goddess squat, rocking it side to side. Finding our half squat as we bring knees over heels, elbows find the inner thighs. We can keep rocking it from side to side. Feel like doing another Bakasana?
Sure.
All right, so there's another great place to get to your Bakasana. As we ground down through the hands, knees come high onto the arms. You can find the armpits awesome as we shift the weight into the hands to float either one or both feet. Awesome, beautiful, Kathy. And then from here, I'll suggest walking it back to down dog, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Again, nice push-ups, feel free to use that knees, opening up the heart in that cobra pose, maybe lifting the hips as you pull it into up dog or not, and then stretching it back to down dog. From down dog, I'll suggest we all find a child's pose. I'm going to adjust the screen here so we get more of a floor perspective. In our child's pose, settling our belly between our thighs. Breathing in, letting your belly massage your thighs. Breathing out, letting your thighs massage your belly as we connect with the very center of yourself. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to let the warmth of the belly warm the thighs, let the warmth of the thighs massage the belly. Kathy has her palms down now, but then at one point she had her palms turned up. I'll invite you to play with that a little bit. So palms down has a certain feel on the shoulders. Palms up has another feel.
You might move between the two. You might find a feel that you want to hang with. In my next suggestion, I will suggest spinning the palms down, keeping hips and heels just as they are. I'll invite you to find a side bend as you walk your hands to one side, stretching far hip to far heel. Now walking hands through center and finding that side bend on your other side, stretching other hip to other heel. Now walking hands center, let's walk the hands in. Let's close the inner knees as we find a kneeling hero pose. If this is too much for your knees or too much for your ankles, you could always take the weight of the body out of the equation as we sit up. From here, let's find eagle arms, arms out to the side. We'll cross right under left, either finding a cross-shoulder hug, hooking the thumbs, or finding the palms, elbows up, up, and away as we breathe into back heart. From here, releasing the wind of the arms, one palm supports the other, relaxing those shoulders, finding your breath. Second side, let's switch up the stretch of our foot. So I'll invite you to tuck the toes, and then using the weight of the body to stretch that place where the toe and the foot connect. And again, if this is too much, you can take the weight of the body out of the stretch. Arms out to the side, this time left under right, either finding that cross-shoulder hug, hooking the thumbs, or finding the palms. Elbows up, up, and away as we breathe into back heart. Now releasing the wind of the arms, one palm supports the other, relaxing the shoulders, finding our breath. Moving towards Malasana, the garland pose. As we ground down through the hands, we're going to lift the knees. We're going to separate the knees, big toes still touch, and we'll walk the arms in extension as we shift the weight back towards the heels. Feeling length not just in your spine, but in the inner shins as you push those big toes down and stretch those knees wide. Similar stretch to the child's pose, but obviously a lot more compression on the knee. And again, if this is not for you, feeling free to hold your kneeling hero pose or your kneeling hero pose with no weight on those knees. Those of you that found Malasana, walking the hands in, we can close the knees, challenging our balance as one hand finds the heart, the other hand follows, and then maybe stretching those hands high to the sky, and it feels wiggly. Try wiggling those fingers, or wobbly, wiggling those fingers. We can spin the palms out as we land the knees lightly, bringing our feet off to that less obvious side. Two long legs in front. Now straightening those legs wherever you're working, this will feel good. I'll invite you to give your knees a little love and consideration, a hand on each side, sharing the warmth of the hands with your knees. Fingers find the back of the knee. And then letting that kneecap be loose as we give it a wiggle, encouraging more circulation, more blood flow into the various connective tissues that make up our knee. We want to keep those tissues healthy and strong. Second side, we find warmth, warming up the sides of the knee. Fingers find the back of the knee. And then letting that kneecap be loose as we give it a little wiggle. From here, let's find Tarasana. So a big wide diamond with the legs. We can feed, actually Tarasana is here, hands on our knees, named after a Buddhist goddess of compassion, Tara. And we'll turn Tarasana into Kurmasana as we feed our hands underneath our legs, inner groins deep, letting yourselves melt into the shape. There's a mantra that goes with this shape. I go deep within to find all that I need. I go deep within to find all that I need. I go deep within to find all that I need. And then holding for another couple of breaths. From here, a tuck of the chin as we bring it on up, unfeeding the arms from out from the legs. We can use our hands to close our thighs, keeping our inner thighs soft. Let's do a long, slow roll down onto our backs. I'll invite you to find some space overhead. When we get down, we can do a full body stretch. It feels so good. We can start from neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum. From here, finding C-spine as we tuck tail and chin. Either working the roll down unassisted or feeling free to catch the back of the thighs as we roll ourselves down as if we're laying pearls onto a cushion, laying each vertebrae down. When we get down, back of the head on the floor, arms overhead, pointing fingers and toes as we breathe in. And then breathing out, sweeping our hands by our sides, widening our thighs, scooting the head back as we flatten the shoulders, doing whatever else feels right and good for you. As we find our Shavasana, tip of the tongue now neutral in the mouth, a slight part to the lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. And we'll be here a minute or so. Those of you at home who want to hold your Shavasana longer, feeling free to hold your Shavasana. I'm going to ring these yoga bells one time. I invite you to hear the striking of the tone, the duration of its sound, its subsequent diminution, and then the ambient silence thereafter. At home, feeling free to hold your Shavasana. For the purposes of this hour-long class, for the purposes of this room, I'll invite you to move your mind before you move your body, bringing your focus back to your breath, watching as it flows in, and watching as it flows out. Now inviting your body to this time and place as you shape your breath with a long, slow inhalation, matched by an even longer, slower exhalation as we start to vary the ratio between the inhale and the exhale. So longer, slower exhales. Keeping this more relaxing breath, I'll invite you to gently ripple your fingers and toes as we invite prana into our bodies. Now inviting that prana in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. A little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you as we connect with the most important teacher in whatever room. The teacher inside yourself, your own inner wisdom, what's right and good for you, right here, right now. Now moving towards Apanasana as we draw one knee at a time in towards our heart, our hands catch our shins, and using our thighs to massage our center of balance as we gently lift and lower our low back and hips. Keeping the knees close in, gently rocking it from side to side. And then the next time you rock to the right, long to the right arm, rolling onto the right side, letting that arm serve as a cushion for the head. I'll invite you to let a breath sigh out through your mouth as you soften your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, softening the corners of your eyes. And the neck relaxed, face soft as we press into our hands to come up and claim a cross-legged sit. Grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands as we sit up a little straighter, a little taller, a slight tuck of the chin. 5 fingers of one hand find the ground. The palm of the other hand faces the sky. Ending our practice as we start, watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and bow as you thank yourselves for practicing yoga. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world, the light within me honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
I'll thank you at home for practicing with us. I'll thank Kathy for practicing with me. And we'll see you next time, either live here in San Francisco or through the virtual liveness of Facebook Live. I do a Zoom class with the Bay Club on Tuesdays. You can always PM me for that link if you're not a Bay Club member. And we'll see you all real soon.